Glad you guys are here. It's going to be an exciting one because we are talking about the Deltardians, and yes, Del is in chat and he is very triggered. Anyway,
Ooh.
we got Roger, we got Dave, and we got Nate in the house. How you guys doing?
Beautiful.
Fantastic, man.
Thought I would come in for this one. I like it.
Timing worked out great because I had to go get my Jeep inspected. The sticker's been dead for like 2 months. I don't want to get shot. Don't shoot me for a dead sticker, right? And so it was like, oh man, I'm going to make it just in time. So I was able to get in here, have everything all set up just as this thing was getting ready to start. So
Dave, did the Earth get in your way on your way there?
it did.
It was rising up the whole time.
It stopped for a second, and my Jeep jumped up in the air. Luckily, there was railroad tracks right at that point, and I missed them. So,
well, you see, Dal, I got nothing against you, man. I've got nothing against you. I just think it's nonsense that you're pushing, and I do think it's dishonest that you're ignoring everybody's rebuttal to your, sad to say, retarded argument. So, yeah, still got nothing against you, and you're getting very triggered. That's your issue. I do have a present for Dal, by the way, guys. You want to see Dal's present?
Let's see.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's watch Dal's present. Because Dal claims we're the ones pushing globe rhetoric, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have Brian Cox explaining to him that, no, it's in fact the Deltardians pushing globe rhetoric. If he doesn't want to hear us, then yeah, he can listen to Mr. Priest, Brian Cox.
Enjoyable and a fascinating journey.
You see it with the modern cosmology is based on Einstein's theory of general relativity, which is a theory of gravity. So in that sense, the ambition of the theory was no greater, really, than Newton's. It was to describe how objects move in gravitational fields. Newton said it's an apocryphal story actually, but Newton said there's an apple fell onto his head. Why did it fall onto his head? Because there's a force pulling it down, and that force is proportional to the product of the mass of the Earth and the mass of the apple, and the square of the distance between them. So that was the first universal law of nature, 1687. So a great step forward. In 1915, based on thoughts that Einstein had for actually a decade or more, Einstein produces a new theory of gravity, which the one-line summary is that the apple doesn't hit Newton on the head because the Earth pulls the apple down. The apple hits Newton on the head because Newton accelerates upwards and headbutts the apple.
Oh no. Oh no!
Sounds a lot like Upwards Rising Earth, huh?
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Del, did you hear that? Come on, dude.
Let's rewind it 5 seconds again. Del, listen to what the globe rhetoric is, mate.
Apple hits Newton on the head because Newton accelerates upwards and headbutts the apple.
Oh no!
It's the equivalency principle, which is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But if
so I just thought I'd share that for him.
I'm watching the chairs on the floor rise up, or the Earth rise up to hold them in place so they don't go anywhere. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So based on this, guys, who's the one pushing globe rhetoric? The stationary Earthers or the upward rising Earthers?
I would say upward rising Earther. That would be my opinion, just from a glance at it.
Yeah,
now, they used to, I remember when I first got hit with Flat Earth, right? One of the first places I went was Flat Earth Society. And Flat Earth Society was pushing this upward rising Earth, and I think they've even abandoned this now.
Dave Weiss was one of the proponents of upward rising Earth, wasn't he?
I think they attribute the traction you actually get when you walk to upward rising Earth, right? Like when you're actually walking, the reason you gain traction because the Earth is rising up to meet you.
Yeah, whoever it was, essentially, it's the first thing that most people come into as the explanation for gravity. And, it's a straw man that a lot of globers will use for what we explain gravity to be as, because it's just so easily debunkable.
And the Delites, or whatever you want to call them, do the same.
Well, would Dell have a different view than the
I would love
original
to.
Upward Rising Earthers?
I'd
Because
love
fair
to hear
enough,
his new view.
Dell is an upward. Dell is an upward rising.
He is
Earth.
an upward rising Earth, and
No,
I've
I'm
got
saying
on.
because Roger was making a distinction between.
Yeah. And I'm going to keep his statement on screen while Brian Cox says it to him again. Okay.
Apple doesn't hit Newton on the head because the Earth pulls the apple down. The apple hits Newton on the head because Newton accelerates upwards and headbutts the apple.
One more time. Just in case. Just in case Dal doesn't understand.
Apple doesn't hit Newton on the head because the Earth pulls the apple down. The apple hits Newton on the head because Newton accelerates upwards and headbutts the apple.
Thank you very much.
Concussion much?
There we go, Dal. That was an easy debunk.
Not hard.
Nope.
Not hard. So yeah,
There would have to be
much wrong with this rising Earth.
There would have to be continuous acceleration continually, constantly going faster and faster and faster to maintain the effect that he's saying is present because of an upward rising Earth. Once it got to speed and maintained a constant speed, then everything's going to be relative. So it's just like when you're in a car, when you push down on the accelerator, you feel yourself press back in the seat. But once you get up to speed and you maintain that speed, you're no longer pressed back in your seat anymore.
Yeah, because it's constant. That's the whole point which we keep making to Dal, because if he's claiming it's not accelerating, it's just constant. You can't claim that's the reason for a pressure gradient or things rise, because it's like you said, if you climb in a car and you accelerate, let's go to drag strip. I'm sure anybody here has probably been in a car accelerating. As soon as you accelerate, you're pushed into the back of your chair. But if you're not accelerating anymore, you gain a constant. You're able to push forward, sit normal, because it's not forcing you backwards. And their Flat Earth Rising claim is it's forcing everything down.
This is why your little air freshener hanging from your mirror doesn't slant back at an angle toward you while you're going down the road. It just hangs there, doesn't it? It just hangs there. You can push it and it swings and everything. Come on now.
Technically, you'd be like a pancake if you were on a rising up.
We would have exceeded many times the speed of light by now.
Exactly.
And if we're talking about globe similarities with the upwards rising Earth, they also have to account for everything else moving up with the Earth as well. Same way with the spinning of the Earth for globers.
Sun, moon, stars, all that have to go up at the same rate.
But it's also simple that if they're claiming this upward rising Earth, and it's like we said, it's how can I claim it? How can I make it? The globers claim that no, it's a force pulling it down. Well, those are uninformed globers. Globers that still claim gravity is a force and people pulled down to the Earth are Newtonian globers, which are outdated over 109 years already.
Yep.
Okay? So they're not keeping up with their globe religion. It's not our problem. It's their problem. So
the argument is based on Newtonian, the Newtonian idea of gravity, which is why we just discount that and say no. It was discovered before Newton. We don't need to account for.
The thing people need to people need to take into account is that although Newton had postulated this and written it in a paper, he did not want to be associated with it and didn't publish it, and because he said it was ridiculous. Okay, it wasn't published until after he was dead. And he couldn't protest.
I'm sending Dal the link. Let's see if he will want to come in and defend it. Well, we'll see if he's not going to try and just insult us, though. So I emailed you the link, Dal. Maybe we can try another time to help you understand how it works. Because it's not difficult to understand. By the way, Dal, the fact you are agreeing with Zeppy Teppy, a well-known globe troll, says it all.
Yeah, I saw in chat he said that he had Globers recorded saying that there's what was it? Agreeing there's a downward acceleration of 9.8 miles per second. Yeah.
Meters per second. You know, there's more than Ryan Cox says on that video, by the way. The fact is, he also says that when you take the medium away in a vacuum, then they fall at 9.8 meters per second. What is the independent variable, guys?
The medium.
And I want to ask anybody, do we claim gravitational waves or gravitational pockets or anything gravity?
No.
So we're not pushing globe, are we? No, we're simply pushing.
What was decided before the globe? What we knew before the globe, yeah.
Yeah, we're just simply pushing relative density disequilibrium. We're pushing that there is. Now I can't even think of the word. Sorry, guys, I'm very tired. Hardly slept last night. What do we say? When something is dispersed. Anyway, yeah, it's definitely not gravity, guys. Look at this, guys. Dal says that doesn't comprehend that their upwards acceleration. We don't have upwards acceleration. It's just the Earth's resistance, not an actual motion. So you're pushing equivalence principle. That's a globe rhetoric.
100%.
Displacement, that's the word I'm thinking of. Sorry, guys.
It's a good word.
Yeah, what's going through? But guys,
go ahead.
No, sorry.
I was going to say, a lot of people, and I've had this discussion 100 times, that displacement is a force. Okay? If you have a full tub of water and you get in that tub of water, what forced that water to rise? What is forcing the air to not be where you are at? So your mere presence is actually creating a force against the air that you're in, against the medium. And the medium, in turn, is exerting a force against you. It's how did I think of it last night? It was
because matter can't take up the same space. So if you are in there, you can't take the same space up as that. You've occupied it. So therefore you have forced the displacement.
The object will either displace the medium or the medium will displace the object.
Exactly. You moved into the water. No shit, Sherlock, because it took a force to move. And now we are saying we have unbalanced forces. So everything has an unbalanced force based on what can be supported. This is always observed. And yes, there is a measurable acceleration. You can't help it, you ignore it. When you drop your lighter, it's observed, it's measured. So there's an issue with your argument, Dal. And now, by the way, I did send him the link. It doesn't seem that he wants to come in.
It's all just the ratios of the two, the density to the medium. That's it. That's like why I said that the object will either displace the medium or the medium will displace the object. Okay, in which case, if the object, oh fuck, my thing is, I'm blinking out again. I'll be back.
Your picture's frozen.
I'll be back.
No stress, man. Okay, since Dal doesn't want to come in, we'll have to go and watch the show.
I got a question for you before you start.
It starts to fall because there's
go ahead.
Yeah. Does the oceans are they affected by this upward rising Earth? The tides and the currents and stuff in the oceans.
I don't know how Dal would explain that though on his upward rising Earth.
I'm just wondering. Hey, Del. You're welcome to come explain it to us.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to type it in chat. Yeah.
Yeah, how do tides and things work? Because the globe, they claim it's due to the gravitational pull of the moon and everything. Okay? And because Dal claims everything is being pushed, why is the tides going up then?
Yeah.
Really
When you
weird.
have a rebuttal based on globe math, you have to give a answer that also
Yeah, it's really
fits the
weird.
model. Yeah.
fits them.
It's actually a very good question, though. Definitely. I would like to see what he says. Did you hear the question, Dave?
No, I did not. Go, please reiterate.
He asked, how do tides work on his upward rising Earth? Because if you think about it, they claiming pressure gradients, everything work because the Earth is pushing up. Why do we get high tides then?
Good
What's
question.
causing that high tide? If there's Earth is just moving up constantly, so what's causing a tide?
Yes, water being level is a result of force. Level is the perpendicular orientation to the force and motion of the Earth.
Yeah, but that's my point now. If the flat Earth, as you're putting it, is rising constantly up, okay, and it's a level plane rising up, why do we have tides? Why is water higher and lower at parts? Because he claims the acceleration is the cause for the force. So it should have an even force. There should be no tides. Well done, Roger. You actually just demolished his whole argument with logic.
With tides? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
So RWN here, Real New World News, says I can prove gravity using the scientific method without logical fallacies or cognitive biases, as centrifugal force G equals mw squared times r. That's the only scientific way to prove it. No, that's a mathematical formula, okay, that you've created to describe your theory. Okay, so go ahead and use gravity as the independent variable and modulate it in order to change the acceleration. Go ahead.
Yeah, but he does understand that that an equation doesn't prove science.
No, it doesn't.
We need an experiment that actually would show that, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
and notice
you want to use the scientific method? Go ahead. Use the scientific method. Have gravity as your independent variable, modulate it, and then change the acceleration rate of the object. Go ahead. I can do it with the medium. I can change the medium and do that all day long.
Yeah. Okay. Dal is ignoring the tides argument. He just tides and all. That's his rebuttal to that. Then he asked what causes tides. Okay, I'll show you. I made a video on this ages ago.
I remember that.
Actual demonstration, remember?
Actually, I haven't seen this, so.
Haven't you seen it?
No.
Let me quickly get it. If I can find it. It's such a long time ago.
Why do we keep going around in these circles? That's my question. The answer is the same question a million times.
Yeah.
Because you're chasing a tail. You're chasing a tail. You're going after the wrong component. That's why. They're going after the wrong component. They're disregarding displacement.
I played pin the tail on a donkey before, too.
I mean, displacement is the answer. It's not hard to understand. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Flatzoid FE.
Flatzoid.
Flatzoid FE.
Flatzoid FE.
Flatzoid is found.
Flatzoid.
I don't have the same level of scientific understanding as Flatzoid. I think that's about right.
Flatzoid's YouTube channel. Subscribe today.
Just going to do a quick demonstration, as I see tides is a big topic at the moment with anti-flat earthers and globe believers. I'm going to be showing thermohaline currents, which is considered to be the ocean's conveyor belts. Here I've just got a fish tank with some water. I've put some red food coloring in now, and that jar in the back there, I'm going to add some hot water shortly. The thing is, the red dye is just representing the hot current. It is denser than the water it is in, so it has sunk. Now when I'm adding the hot water to the jar to heat that area up, you will see that it will start to rise and want to go to the opposite side where it is a colder area, because always hot to cold. Now you must remember, when something gets hotter, it is less dense than when it's colder. Well, this is according to with water. Especially when it comes to salt water, it becomes more saline. Yeah, I added an ice pack to
Notice that this is also displacement in
represent
action.
the polar ice caps. I'm throwing in some vanilla essence because I didn't have another color food dye, but it's fine. It gives a representation of what's going on. Obviously, that cold dye is much denser than the water as well, but surely soon enough you'll start to see the effect taking place. Remember, on the left it's the heat, so let's say where the sun is warming up the water throughout the day and the heat is seeking its equilibrium, so it's moving to the colder points, so the cold water will push down to the surface as the heat will push upwards and towards the cold. There you already see how it's making a type of arc with that red dye, which is representing the hot air, as that cold water is forcing itself underneath that hot water. Understand? So it is pushing upwards, it's pushing it up, and thus it's creating the thermohaline currents, aka the ocean's conveyor belt. Now without this happening, the oceans would not be experiencing any tides. You need this for the bottom portions of the ocean to move, while the wind helps with the top portions of the oceans to move, and the topography with the land masses everywhere. It's just got to do with hydrostatic equilibrium. If you understand heat seeks cold, hot seeks cold, it's just an equilibrium process. So it's going through a cycle, and this is why you have tides. It's got nothing to do with the moon, as you have places that has full tides without a moon present. And then you have places that don't even have a tide when it is present. You have lakes that don't have it, and you have lakes that do have it. It's all just got to do with the cycles. AKA no gravitational pull whatsoever. That is just a fundamental belief. So I challenge everybody that believes it's the moon's gravitational pull to please go and find me one scientific hypothesis and experiment validating gravity exists.
But I got a formula.
Yeah, I got formulas. Yeah.
You
I
got
heard a
formulas.
guy. My wife was in Florida recently, and she heard a guy telling her kids that the tide was not as high because the moon was only a crescent.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you get places that don't get any tides at all. Moon, sun, both present, no tides.
I was going to say, Flatfoot, you're like a regular Mr. Wizard. You're on top of it.
That was an old video.
Yeah, you're really quiet in that video too. You're not as assertive as you are now. You just like humble.
Yeah, I was still new to the flat earth there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ages ago. But it's very simple. It's displacement in action.
And we got to this. We also got to this from Del saying, "So how do tides work on yours?" Now, can we know how tides work on the upwards rising Earth?
Yeah, he asked for a demonstration, so now I gave him an actual demonstration how it works. So
I got another question.
Now can show us.
Yeah. How does flight work in that upward rising Earth? Doesn't it create an updraft? If the Earth is rising up, it would affect the way you fly.
No, it's the same as what gravity would do. So it doesn't really. He claims they also got pressure gradients due to this upward rising Earth.
Man, everything's upward rising Earth. This must be nice.
It's exactly globatoric. That's exactly what he's pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Joyce
don't
says
lead the
Turkey
blind.
barely gets sized. Mm-hmm. I think there's a place in, where was it, Jamaica or something as well, where it doesn't have any tides. There's some places that have like 3 or 4 tides a day.
How about the lakes? How about the Great Lakes? Why is there no tides there? What's
Wow.
up?
Yep.
They're huge bodies of water too. They would be
certainly
affected
are.
by.
Listen,
What about-
you get out in those lakes, and I'm telling you, this is from experience. You might as well be in the ocean.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Large body of water. It doesn't rise. It doesn't have tides. Yeah, exactly that.
It's strange, huh?
It's really weird.
How it works in
Zippy
some
Tippy.
places, and
Yeah. Zippy Tippy, if you want to come in and talk about your globe or try and defend Del's Rising Earth, you're more than happy to. Let me know.
I don't see anything.
Crickets.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe let's just give him some time. Maybe he's getting like his headphones or something. I don't know.
Making a cup of coffee, probably. Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
He can walk on water too, huh?
Actually, hold on, there was a funny clip where, if you guys saw that, about Hulk Hogan doing that thing for Trump, it's exactly the same to Idiocracy.
Yes, we're ripping his shirt off and everything. I know.
Yeah.
And think about
Really?
this. If you remember, do you remember
Hold on, I'll get it.
the girl? You remember the girl that was the prostitute, right? And she ended up being his wife, and he was the president.
Uh-huh.
Do you see any similarities between him and her and Kamala Harris?
Camilla.
Oh my God!
I
Even
do.
looks like her. Even fucking looks like her, man.
Well, we do make a claim that Idiocracy is playing out at this moment, so it's definitely something weird.
The only thing fiction about that movie was the timeline. It didn't take 500 years. Not at all. It only took about 10.
No, Zippy Tippy, the thing is, there's no infighting. It's
I'm gonna try and see
it's just simply
if I can find it.
It's just simply showing that his argument's retarded and he needs to get over it.
Yeah, we're not mad at him. We just think he's
we
wrong.
like it. We think he's wrong and he's dishonest because he doesn't want to accept his wrong. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. He doesn't give any rebuttal to anything presented. The only thing we get back from him is, "Ooh, demonstrate! I could demonstrate," without understanding his demonstrations, making our point.
We still
You
have
don't
to have,
understand
of course,
physics.
Energy just doesn't happen. Okay, so there has to be some kind of a source for this upward acceleration of Earth. There has to. So, and where? And where's it going? Where's it coming from? Where's it going to? What's it in that's causing this? I mean, this is just I think it's just a lazy way of looking at it. I really do. I think it's just a lazy way. I don't understand displacement, so I think the Earth is rising. Boom.
But that's the sad part of it. He says displacement is part of it. He still agrees with relative density and stuff, but he just says that's not the cause. He says that's a byproduct of the accelerating Earth.
And this Earth is accelerating perfectly to keep density and it's and everything buoyant the whole time. When I put the raft in the water, it's moving up. The Earth is constantly moving up at that rate, and it just stays there, so it floats at that level because of the upper rising Earth. Nonsense.
All right, I found it. Hold on. I'm gonna share the screen so you can see this. Yeah. Hold on. Share screen. Here it is.
Let's go. Oh, did I share it? No. Okay, there we go.
He always finds a way to win. And when he's back in our White House, America is going to start winning again. He's got a higher IQ than any man alive. He's going to fix everything. the price of food and gas and housing is out of control. And the only person who can clean this up is Donald Trump.
Fix the problems with all the dead crops. He's gonna make them grow again.
He's gonna win in November, and we're all gonna be champions again when he wins.
I give you my word. He's gonna fix the economy.
Let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
That's what I thought.
Of course, they couldn't bring out a gun, but pretty similar.
Obviously, but
God
it's
bless
quite
them, dude.
closely linked. It's like the same thing, yeah.
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 Rita. That was her name. Rita.
Rita,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Rita and Kamala are the same. Exactly.
Wasn't Rita a
Except
prostitute?
Rita was smart. Rita was halfway smart. Kamala, I don't know what in the world. She literally thinks that the cloud, she thinks that the data cloud is literally a cloud floating in the air that everybody's data is in. She literally thinks that, man.
Oh, God,
Wow.
help us. And
That's
she's going to be
bad.
our next president? I don't know.
Well, it's not like we have anything to do with it. No, come
Nope.
on. That's a story for children right there. It's already been predetermined who they're going to select and what they're going to do. This was determined a long time ago, before probably two administrations ago. This shit was all planned. Come on.
They were just finding the best script writers for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, they got bad script writers now because it's not even believable.
It's unbelievable.
Look at the parallel between Hollywood and politics. I mean,
So
They're like
Ryan
that.
says there was someone on your stream who was claiming hollow convex Earth.
Yeah. Drake. That guy,
Drake was he too? I don't know that.
down in Australia.
Yeah,
He's an old guy.
I don't know what happened when I was on. You know when you saw me leave,
Yeah.
it blocked me. I couldn't unmute. I couldn't unmute my put my camera on. It just said blocked.
Yeah, I asked where you went, man.
Crazy, because I went. I looked on the StreamYard block list. You weren't on there. I went into YouTube in the block list. You weren't in
Pretty
there.
weird.
So somebody's up with some fuckery is what's going on there.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I tried talking on Discord, and I didn't know if you answered me back, but yeah, where'd you go? You just disappeared.
Oh, Luca, email me.
Oh.
I've been inactive for a while, so how about now? Can I come in? No. Anyway.
At least he's doing more than Dell. He's trying to come in.
No, it's okay. I want the Upward Rising Earthers to come in and defend it.
Who is he trying to come in? Is the question.
Tonight is about the Deltardian model. So
I'll be fair enough. I haven't heard enough of Dell's arguments. I need to I'll see. Maybe I can be converted today.
Okay, we can do that.
I couldn't believe I saw people just jump on the bandwagon with it. Yep, okay, and it's like, if you really thought this out.
No.
After my show last night, it was like some of those people were going, I'm starting to rethink this. I think Dave's probably right.
Yeah, the thing is, none of it makes sense. There's no coherency with the argument. It doesn't fit physics at all. It doesn't fit observable reality at all. It doesn't fit anything.
Yeah, in the same arguments with like, oh, why don't you feel the spin? Why don't you feel the upward rising Earth? It's even though that's a stupid argument, but you get the idea. It's like a lot of the arguments that we have for the globe is also put on the upwards rising Earth, because it's like this. It doesn't make sense it's a lot of contradictions essentially.
Yeah.
That brings up another point right quick.
Or just unseen aspects that they didn't account for, and then it's like, well, what is this? And then they have no explanation.
Your vestibular system, wouldn't it affect it too? Wouldn't you feel nauseous?
God, yes. I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think the issue they have, though, is none of it is demonstratable to how they need it to be. They claim, look, it's demonstrations when they drop things and make our point, or they accelerate a car, but they're going on the movement. Okay, so they're just concentrating on what the movement is without understanding. Fine, make that movement then, that claim, but there's so much issues with that movement that they are not able to address. Just like we said, if you're accelerating constantly, we'd be faster than the speed of sound by now. That would mean your gravity, quote unquote, your equivalence principle, would be increasing. Because the faster and faster you're accelerating, the more we're being forced to the ground. This isn't happening.
So I thought they claimed it was constant acceleration.
That's the other issue. Because they claim it's constant, there is no force pushing us to give that pressure gradients. It's the same as when you take a car, you accelerate and it pushes that balloon back or whatever, or forward. As soon as you drive constant, it just falls back to normal. Why? Because the displacement is just normal. You're not displacing anything due to a force that way.
And
so
would they have to believe in a medium around the Earth, or would that be space? Or
last time I checked, Dell doesn't believe in space, so I don't understand how he can claim it's moving upwards or wherever he is in space if he doesn't claim there is no space.
It would have to be some other medium then. Water is above or something. If you
We're in a giant bubble, in a water bubble, in an air pocket, moving up through the ocean of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's gonna pop it one day.
Hey, don't be giving them any ideas.
That would just be convex. That would just be convex upward rising through water Earth.
Wow.
Oh man. My guy last night said if you went 8,000 miles straight up, you'd end up on the other side of the Earth.
He did, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
Wow. And how did he get to that though?
He said that the Earth's a hollow globe that we're inside of, and there's a cosmic sphere up in the middle about 4,000 miles away. And this is all because two mine shafts, he said, don't come out plumb to each other. I know.
They did the same experiment here in the States.
You guys are saying he claimed the one plumb line and the one mine shaft, and the plumb line and the other shaft doesn't. They don't.
Right, they're doing like this.
And when I asked, okay, now how the hell do you get? How did he measure this? You say he didn't observe it, so it's really weird.
Right.
Well, the Koreshians did this here in the States too. They took two mine shafts here too in a copper mine, and they put two plumb lines down in them, and they measured it wasn't parallel with each other.
That's what they claim.
Yeah, that's what they did, and they said that due to that, it is pointing to the outside center that made the Earth concave, the exact opposite of the ball.
Yeah. I think they watched. You see, the thing is, I think that guy watched too much. What's that movie now? I can see it in my head.
Three Stooges.
Physics. It's actually a brilliant movie. I am so tired. Sorry, guys, I can't concentrate.
You're talking about the one where they trap the people inside of the...
I cannot believe I can't think of the name now. Where he goes into the fifth dimension?
No idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What? No way. I mean, there's a whole...
Was it Interstellar?
Interstellar. There we go. Interstellar.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, all right.
Remember in the end there, it's like a convex Earth that they start living in. So maybe
the thing is,
Interstellar.
The thing is with that experiment in the mine shafts, they didn't take account of any other forces that would attribute to the plumb line, like any kind of metals or any air pressure that was inside of it. They didn't take account for that at all. So it kind of invalidated that whole experiment.
Yeah, but Roger, the thing is, when something lies plumb, it lies plumb. It's perfectly vertical. You need to have another plumb that's perfectly vertical measured at that point, but not the same vertical as the other plumb. And they're not able to do this. They're not able to show the difference.
I'm pretty sure the reason Hollow Earth was made was because of these stories of people going into the inner Earth. So I wonder if convex Earthers say the same thing about the outside. Like there's an outside in the convex Earth, and that's the actual inner Earth that Hollow Earthers are talking about. Jeez.
Like the movie Land Before Time. Like,
yeah.
We're good.
King Kong movie had the same thing.
We should see this video.
Yeah. Let's listen to some Dal pushing his globe rhetoric.
Jaren is
sorry, flat Earth. Okay.
A downward vector, and then it's going to go faster in second 2 than it went in second 1 due to momentum.
Right. So your claim is that there's a downwards acceleration then?
Sure.
So why does no accelerometer detect that acceleration downwards?
Because you have to be outside of that frame of reference.
So I need to be outside of a car or a enclosed system that's moving in a particular direction to detect that it's in motion in a particular direction. Is that your claim?
No, because it's not in free fall and it's not going in the direction of the vector I just mentioned.
So what do you mean that it's not in free fall? What's the difference in this free fall Jeranism? Because if you're claiming that there's an acceleration downwards, you're now trying to nullify it by saying it's a free fall. So
yes, there's definitely a measured acceleration. I still don't understand how he can stand and say I don't see things accelerating towards the ground. Has he ever heard of skydivers before?
Avalanches?
I mean, think about it. If you've been to an air show maybe and the people do skydiving, you sit there and you watch someone jump out of an airplane.
If you've even
You're
just
watching them accelerate towards the ground.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what he means by like sky.
No.
Like what height. Like, yeah.
The ground's accelerating towards them, sir. Beg to differ.
That's the issue, though. They get to what we call terminal velocity. So when they reach terminal velocity, they are now at a constant. They're not accelerating anymore, but they're still getting closer to the ground. This is impossible on his accelerating Earth. Because if it's accelerating, the Earth will getting faster towards him. Or if it's constant, as he says, then he wouldn't be accelerating.
You'd be hovering, wouldn't you, from the pressure coming from the upward accelerating Earth?
I wonder if I can draw it on the paint for Sean Hawkins.
Oh, there you go. It's hard to wrap your head around, Flashlight. It really is.
Yeah, this is for you, Sean Hawkins. I'm using paint again. Okay. Okay, you guys can see that. Okay, let's just say we have an airplane. Ooh. Oh, well. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's just say that's the wing. Okay. Well, the tail. Okay. Here's the wing, other side. Okay. Now, you're going to have a parachute, skydiver jumps out the plane. His initial velocity here, okay, will be less than his final velocity. That's IB.
Oh.
Okay. Correct? Because when he reaches here, he would be at terminal velocity. So when he's at terminal velocity, he's accelerated from 0 to whatever he gets at that speed. Let's say 200 kilometers an hour, whatever. Do you understand? When he reaches terminal velocity, the ground is still rising according to Dal towards him, even though he's reached terminal velocity. Why?
Well, terminal velocity means that's not true, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying there's two issues here. If he's claiming the Earth is accelerating upwards, then if he had to jump out, he will never reach terminal velocity because he'll get faster and faster towards the Earth because the Earth will be rising quicker and quicker up towards him. But they claim it's a constant, so fine. If you claim it's a constant and you claim that the reason things appear to fall is because Earth's rising up, they don't really fall. So as soon as he leaves the airplane, he's staying there. the Earth is rising to meet him. So he won't accelerate downwards because the Earth is constantly rising towards him.
But then would the airplane move upwards, or would it just stay there?
No, the airplane will stay relative the whole time because the air is still pushing up on it and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But the airplane's still moving like so many miles per hour in one direction too, right?
Yeah, but if you understand what I'm saying now, if he's claiming it's a constant, and he's jumped out the airplane now, okay?
Yeah.
If he's claiming it's the force of the Earth rising that gives this acceleration, but it's a constant, the guy jumps, he's not really falling. So when he jumps out, he's supposed to be staying still.
He's frozen.
Well, technically, the Earth would move out from underneath him because it's rotating and orbiting too.
Well, no, not in his model. It ain't.
But you understand? Well, am I making a coherent argument? Because in my head, I'm trying to say, because the claim is the cause for the acceleration is due to the constant uprising Earth. So if the constant uprising Earth is rising, and when he drops, in this case,
because it would be too.
And I let it go, it's still supposed to stay here because the Earth is rising up to meet it. It's not really moving.
Because then it would be two accelerations going down on each other.
Yeah, so there won't be any acceleration on itself.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. He wants a physical demonstration. He's screaming it in chat.
He's not even in chat anymore. I think he left.
He left. He will leave because he won't concede he has just bullshit. Oh, and based on his accelerometer idiocy argument, we've been saying this the whole time. An accelerometer just works on a electric charge on a silicon chip. So when it moves, that charge goes through the chip and it's saying it's going in a vector. So you can set that, you can actually calibrate it to say when it's sitting on the table, it shows 1G or 0G. When you drop it, if you've calibrated on the table sitting still to show 0G and you drop it, then it will show it's accelerating. But if you calibrate it on the table having 1G and you drop it, it'll show no acceleration. The reason for that is because of net forces. There's a thing called net force.
So basically, you're finding your zero. You can set the accelerometer for any point.
Yeah, they're claiming because accelerometers don't tell that accelerometers don't show a measured downward acceleration when you drop it, so therefore there is no acceleration. There are other ways to measure this acceleration. Have you guys ever seen where they take like a ladder on like a wall or something? You know, they mark out sections. Let's say they
Not
take.
Really.
I'm going to go back to Mr. Paint. Okay.
Well, Sean's loving this.
He's loving this. He's like, he's using a paint again.
I'm sure he's watching this.
Okay. Let's say this is a wall. And they usually have yellow markers. So they use a marker and they space them out evenly. Okay.
I know what you're talking about now. I've seen them do this with the fire departments when they're doing their training.
Okay, but this is specifically just for references. Okay, but no, it's just making a route. Yes, they are not perfectly the same. It's just to make an argument. Okay, to make a point. Now, let's say you have a ball and the ball is being dropped here. Okay. You are standing watching this. What you're going to do is you're going to stand and you're going to watch as the ball is being dropped and falling down to the ground. You take a second interval. So you're counting how long it takes for the ball to hit each point. Get it?
Huh?
So you're actually measuring its
get it.
distance that it's traveled, and that's how you get your 9.8 meters per second squared. There we go. Measured acceleration. Riley Studios, thank you for your $2 super chat, man. Really appreciate it. It says upward moving super chat.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, man. You are awesome. I appreciate everybody. Yeah. Really, thank you.
So-
guys, hit the likes, share the show, let everybody know we are live. Please.
Wouldn't the upward rising Earth affect travel times too, even with automobiles, cars, boats, all of the above?
So. I would think so.
You're traveling against a force that's moving up.
Yeah, think about actually. Should be that way.
What about the spin?
What about what spin? The spin.
Well, there has to be a spin, right?
You're whirling and spinning and crazy.
All kinds of, yeah, but I mean, we're stationary, and he's upward rising, and they're spinning. So we put it all together, we'll come up with something.
That should be something. Okay, let's get on with this. See what Dal says.
What's the difference? Because it's very simple. If it's a stationary,
in the direction of the vector.
I'm still speaking.
The difference.
What do you know? What does a vector mean, Jeranism?
Change in direction? I don't know. Directional?
A vector is magnitude and direction, which means something's moving in a particular direction.
Correct.
Great. So when you drop something, there is a vector. So there's magnitude and acceleration in a particular direction. In this case, when someone jumps out of an airplane, down, Dal.
Dude.
I think it's lazy, dude. It really is to have an upward. You don't have to set a vector. Yeah.
I mean, it's totally against all common sense. If you claiming let's measure the skydiver's vector, his magnitude and everything, and you're claiming, whoa, let's not measure the skydiver, let's measure the Earth rising towards it. Don't measure the Earth rising because you don't observe it. You observe the skydiver jumping towards the Earth.
By the way, Dale's back in chat again.
Cool.
Cool, Dal, you still got the link. I did email it to you, man.
Yay.
So you are come in.
It'd be more interesting than this.
It's a rising pizza pie is spinning through the sky.
I got to give Jaron credit. He did not bite the hook.
That's amore.
I think Jaron's learned through the times now where people always try and hook him into something kind of thing.
Bait.
I have to give it up for Jaron, guys.
Yeah, he's
I have to give it up for Jaron.
jailbait.
He at least gone through understanding when he sees people trying to bait him into something. You know what I mean? So he's very skeptical with that. So that I have to give it up to him for. Ooh, no, Jake is going to say I'm a shill. Oh, sorry, Jake.
I'm an asshole. I advertise. Okay, Flatsoid, here you go.
I almost did a stream on Jake tonight because I watched his latest video, the one he says he's so proud of with his son. You know what his argument is? No, it doesn't go away due to perspective. It doesn't set due to perspective because he claims the sun doesn't change angular size at the horizon.
It doesn't?
The idiot doesn't understand how magnification works. That's all I need to say.
That's another thing they don't take into account either. They're always looking for a singular reason.
But they're the ones that tell us to use a solar filter on our cameras.
And on my documentary,
I know, right?
I actually got a demonstration using a solar filter where it does change angular size.
Yeah, I've seen it dozens of times, man. It's nothing new.
Yep.
But a lot more need to see it for some reason.
Yeah, but you see, his claim is there's more than one sun. Everybody's got their own sun, and we are in a simulation. So he's made a lot of claims, guys. Jake the asshole, QInfi, since you guys believe we live in a simulation, go and demonstrate the simulation for us.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be hard.
Because how dare we say the sun moves away from us?
He's claiming he does physical
So if
demonstrations,
I'm
but not claims.
Yeah.
standing on a stationary Earth with a stationary object in my hand, how does it have a vector?
Because of the electrostatics in the world.
So the electrostatics are moving downwards towards the Earth.
Okay, that I don't agree with Jerem, though. I agree there is electrostatic potentials and stuff, but I don't believe they are the cause for going down or whatever.
You're not going down. You just got to know that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they don't give direction. It's just simply that displacement.
Because this is the same position that Whitsitt has, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Because we definitely don't live between two Gaussian plates, guys. I think we would have realized that by now.
What's your position on ether?
I used to believe in the ether when I first got to Flat Earth. If you look at my first videos, it was me trying to prove ether, actually. And I ended up just dropping it because I couldn't find enough evidence for it.
I wonder if Bell thinks the same.
I was actually very big into the electric universe kind of thing. And I'm still not saying it's not plausible. I'm just saying I don't find enough evidence for it to be able to claim it with certainty to say, yeah, it's true, you understand? So no, I don't hold the position of the ether, if you're asking.
This is why a lot of people believe in God.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, I used to believe it, and then I found no evidence for it, and that's why I dropped it. I dropped it like a hot potato, like I dropped the globe.
Hot potato, hot.
And that is why I'm not dropping relative density disequilibrium, because it does have evidence, it does have scientific backing, and it does show demonstratable reality. And it's the same thing that the globe used to hijack to call gravity.
I mean, that's one thing that you both agree on, right? That's just the reason why it goes down is something that's is contestable.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah.
I actually, never mind. Just go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Well, we need
based
the cost for
on
the
unbalanced
effect.
forces. It's based on unbalanced forces on impulse. So because everything is unbalanced and it has an impulse, that's what just causes its direction. If it can support it, it's neutral. If it can't support it, it has to displace it and move down. It's as simple as that. Not much more.
Somebody named Real World News just said that gravity is a centrifugal force, and I guess we're living on a giant dynamo.
He's an upward rising earther then.
Yeah.
Or he's an inside on the ball. He's on the inside.
Yeah.
Because pushing away causes pulling in.
But then what about the north and the south? If you're on the inside of a ball, then how about the north and south? Why don't you lose gravity and float there?
Mm-hmm.
And between the poles, you're just like floating.
Well,
if it's spinning on its axis, only the people standing directly away from that on the equator would actually have the right kind of gravity, right? It would change as you went towards the center.
Thanks for all.
Notice you never see a Wikipedia or a fact check on an upward rising Earth or on a hollow Earth video. You never see that, do you? You never see. Hollow Earth is an old archaic thing, or you don't never see any of that. I wonder why. I wonder why there's no fact checking done with that shit. Probably because it's
maybe because they don't need to.
Bullshit that nobody could get on board with in the first place. That's why.
Yeah, because it is really stupid. That's why.
Oh, we've just been called.
I just searched up Hollow Earth, Ancient Aliens, the Hollow Earth Theory by the History Channel, of course. Megastructures, Hollow Earth, the Hollow Earth Theory.
They make it sound good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hollow Earth. Yeah, it's all entertaining stuff.
Now we're called derps now.
Hello, who's this?
They're romancing the stone.
Twelvoid mental. Asylum.
Huh?
I'm guessing
I
this
wonder
is
if that's
Joe.
L. Yeah, it probably is, Joe.
Flatzoid's mental asylum.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Joe, yeah.
I gotta get out of this jacket. Hold on a minute.
I almost thought it was Dell. I was like getting excited. Like, okay, he's finally decided to show up. But it's
He's not
fine.
that creative.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I got Roger Ledwell's GoFundMe for his computer up in the link above. If you guys would want to spare him some change to get a PC, he'll be very greatly appreciative.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And I can share content that's worth sharing.
Joe, you make me very excited, man. Thank you.
They are setting the down direction, and then the relative density of the item decides where it displaces.
So how can I not detect that acceleration downwards?
You do. What you talking about?
Woo.
So just handwriting is missing that you don't. That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna also do something again, and I'm gonna ask Dal, can you detect this? I'm gonna do it again. Wait.
I didn't detect anything.
One more time.
Wait, one more time.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's rising up for some reason.
Yeah, I definitely didn't rise up towards it.
Yeah, no, just all my perceptions and senses tell me that it went downwards. Probably why we measure it going downwards, not up, down.
I've got a question for you guys. If anybody ever played javelin before or shot put?
I've seen them.
Yeah,
I have not played them.
I've done shot put. Yeah.
Okay, now let's say you throw the shot put ball and it throws and it makes a divot in the ground. Okay? Would that be caused by it accelerating and forcing itself to make that divot in the ground?
Yeah, I couldn't think of any other reason why. And the weight of the object is what makes the divot larger?
Worse. Yeah, the fact that the weight of the object will determine how big the divot is tells you it's not a constant upward rising Earth.
And the speed of the throw is it.
Because then it wouldn't matter what the weight is of an object. If the Earth is always rising to meet it.
That would also prove displacement.
Yeah, it's just displacement. It's always
You're displacing the dirt.
Yep.
And Jeff's in the house as well. What's up, man?
Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah, if there was no
Come here, Jeff.
If there was no displacement with the sand, there just wouldn't be a divot, of course, right?
Name is Jeff.
I'm trying to put my head around the Earth moving up to stop the divot.
Okay, let's go on.
Wait, what about the wobble?
How can you not detect? Are you talking about by the scientific world, F equals ma, and all their rules and regulations?
A simple do you know what an accelerometer is?
Yes.
So why does an accelerometer not detect the downwards acceleration?
Because it's been preset that the phone is moving down at a certain direction.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, thanks,
Jaron.
Jaron.
Did a good job.
I didn't have to repeat myself. Thank you, Jaron.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's up, Jeff?
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Jeff, I heard
I'm just
you
trying it out on my phone for the first time.
I heard you was an upward rising.
I'm what?
An upward rising Earth.
What the hell? Oh my
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and you both.
Really? Who told them
How
that?
dare you?
My ancestral blood memory.
Sorry? What?
My ancestral blood memory told me that you're an upward rising earther, dude.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
They predicted it in my genes.
I hate to break it to you, but your ancestors were morons.
Nah,
You
they
got blood in your
weren't.
genes,
Nah,
you
they
got
weren't.
issues, bro.
They're wiser than all of us.
Lumpy, you're not muted, man. I have no idea why you think you're muted. Your
Lumpy has that problem a lot.
Yeah. Really weird. Okay.
I mean, a
look
certain
up-
speed.
Take a digital accelerometer is the only digital part of the accelerometer is the numbers on the screen. The mechanical parts inside work on displacement, because when force is applied to matter, there is no force known to man that can accelerate all.
He just conceded displacement, guys. Did you get it?
You did?
He just conceded displacement. Del, do you understand that an accelerometer works on net forces? I'm gonna have to go back to. I can't believe I have to go back to paint. Can't believe it.
I got a question for Dell. Has he ever made fudge before? No, I mean it's legitimate question. When you drop the test of fudge to see if it's at the right consistency, don't they drop it in cold water to see if it displaces in the cold water to consistency, right?
Yep.
I remember watching my grandma make it when I was a kid, and I just remember dropping it in the cold water into a glass jar to see how it beads up in the water.
Yep.
So wouldn't the water be pushing it, displacing it unevenly all the time if we were constantly rising up? The water itself would displace too, along with the fudge.
Yeah.
This came to mind. Sorry. Off topic.
Okay. So anyway, this is a box just sitting still. Okay. It has what we call an unbalanced force. So we give it a unit of 1. Okay?
Yes.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let it drop. So it's on a hook here and we're letting it drop. So now it's going down. The box is falling. And we're going to give it a measurement now. This box now is now 0. Get it? That's how accelerometer works. So it had a unit measure of 1 when it was stationary because it is displacing everything around it. Okay? And wherever it is, it's just sitting still. So it is showing it is, if you had to put a scale here, it would show it is giving a reading. So that would be a 1. But if you had to take that scale away and drop it, it is now a net force of 0. That means every force in this whole reference is all equal. If there was something in the box, it would be falling at exactly the same rate, which means it would also have 0. That's why you don't have any changes in the box while it's accelerating. That's why you need to stand outside
the reference
and look at the box, and you see it fall to the ground.
Right. It says right here, it says in mechanics, the net force is the sum of all forces acting on an object. It is a vector sum of forces acting on a particle or object. The net force is a single force that replaces the effort of the original forces on the particle's motion. It gives the particle the same acceleration as all those actual forces together as described by Newton's second law of motion. An object with a net zero an object with a net force of 0 is stationary, while an unbalanced force leads to acceleration of the object. That last part is very.
Upwards Rising Earth, dead, kill shot. Everyone like right now, killing Upwards Rising Earth.
It was that last part. An object with a net force of 0 is stationary, while an unbalanced force leads to the acceleration of the object.
Exactly.
So when they set the accelerometer, they actually attribute all the forces around it before they set it at 0. That way they can get a reading, a proper reading.
It's just like when you zero out a scale, okay? Mm-hmm. You have to zero the scale so you're not picking up the weight of the scale. So the accelerometer is also zeroed out so that it's going to show zero in the environment. Whereas like Flat said, if you put it on there to show 1, and then you drop it, it's going to show nothing.
There we go. This is actually very good. There we go. So the one is pulling with 10 newtons, the other one's pulling with 5 newtons. So the net force is 5 newtons to the left because the guy on the left has 5 newtons more than the guy pulling to the right. So what's going to happen? Everything is going to go to the left because it has a stronger pull. Now, when things fall to the ground, all these forces have the same attributed amount of force. So that's why it's 0 net force.
Well, and according to Dell, it's a push, not a pull, right?
Yeah, he still doesn't get that either.
There's a lot of Globers in chat ask. I can't tell if they're trolls.
Gravity doesn't exist, D-Masters. This is simply just due to displacement. But we do have a challenge for you. If you would like to come in and prove gravity for us.
No,
and
I was saying.
make sure you prove. Yeah, make sure you prove gravity without manipulating the independent variable of densities, please.
I was just saying, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of these chats. Like, other people were asking earlier in the stream what the moon was, or I saw one person asking that.
I don't know.
Yeah, so there's some flurfers in here. Just seems like we're not really.
I don't know what the moon is. Do you? Anybody? Anybody been up there and touched it?
I mean, not really. I mean, I guess it was thought to be plasma. I somewhat could believe that, but I don't really concede to that. It's not like a belief I hold. Right
I got a simple answer for that. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what you can prove and what you can know. You can speculate on shit all day long, but until you can actually have boots on the ground, physical, actual examination, and tests, then you don't. It's all just. It could be anything.
Think about it this way: if it's unverifiable, okay, then is it more logical to make a claim about it or just say I don't know?
I would go with I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, can you agree it's not solid?
I can't say that for sure neither.
All right, sure.
Demos says, so a box inside the main box stop falling when the main box starts falls. Why? No, it all falls together. Just like the vomit comet. That's why they're at 0g when the vomit comet is going down. It's accelerating. They're accelerating with the plane at the same rate. Not hard to understand. Okay, let's carry on to hear Dell again.
States of matter simultaneously without displacement. That's how an accelerometer works. So if I use an analog accelerometer, like a vessel with water and air in it, that tells me when a force is present because there's a displacement between the gas and the liquid. Now in free
displacement. Why is it they're always using displacement to make their arguments, guys? I don't know. Maybe because the displacement is the cause for the acceleration.
Could be right.
They're always making our points.
Yep.
And this is Globe and Deltardians, by the way, just telling you guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at this stuff that we dropped in a vacuum. What'd you do? You changed the displacement ratio, didn't you?
It went faster after you got rid of the medium, by chance? And gained weight? I don't know.
Yeah.
free fall. There is no displacement of the gas and liquid, no acceleration detected. Why?
Because that's the direction that things go.
So is it your claim that gas... Is it...
Down. One second. I don't mean to...
Sorry, Nat.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it your claim then, Jaron, that you can accelerate gas, liquids, and solids without them displacing?
They're always displacing, Del. Always displacing. He doesn't
Due to the medium?
Neutral displacement. There's always displacement, even if things are neutral. They can't occupy the same place.
That's right. There's never a condition that an object is not subject to a medium. And either the object is going to displace the medium or the medium will displace the object. It all depends on the ratio of density. That's it.
But the
I'm gonna
claim he
say
just
this.
says it doesn't have displacement is total bullshit. There's always displacement. I mean, I can't occupy the same space as Sov. I mean, I can't sit in your chair while you're sitting in your chair, can I, Sov?
No, you can't.
So you're displacing. Are we all displacing? I mean, I'm displacing the air around me sitting on this chair.
Your mere presence is forcing the air to not be where you are.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Fish are smarter than this. And that's saying something. They just play with water all the time.
That's because they're always in school. That's because they're always in school.
I feel like
how's it go? What's up?
Like you were saying, we can make a lot of comparisons, like with the globers and the I don't even know what to call them, upward rising earthers, right? That there's just a cognitive dissonance there, that they can't go past what they've been taught by maybe some fringe person like Del on the internet, and they're just spouting these like basically religious beliefs.
You know what? I'm laughing in chat
because there's no proof of it.
Secret Agent Man is enjoying the show, and Bobby Steele's a Glober was thinking he was agreeing with him, and because he found out no, he's not agreeing with him. Now he's starting to insult him.
Oh God!
Yeah, so, I realized that.
So, Globy, doesn't that show you to be an idiot? Because you thought he was agreeing with you, and he says he's not agreeing with you. So what do you resort to? Insulting him. That's just showing you to be stupid, because you were stupid enough to think he was agreeing with you. Oh man, these guys are.
Yeah, and I'm just doing a little demonstration in my house right now. I clipped something to something. I'm putting pressure on it. I'm letting go of it, and I'm watching the Earth rise up to meet it. When I let go of the pressure that I'm applying to the object, and then it falls on its own accord.
Well, I'm going to do a demonstration as well. Well, watch the Earth rise towards paper, guys.
You got to let go of it.
There was the wrong way. Oh no, there was the wrong way. I went up, not down.
In the downward direction or in another direction?
Any direction.
Sure. No, you have to. If you move something in a direction that's not the downward vector, then you're going to get displacement.
So only in the downward vector you don't get displacement.
That is correct.
So that's the very same rhetoric as a globe earth then, Jeranism.
Okay, Jaron, that's false though. That's false though. I have to correct Jaron. There is displacement, just the net forces are zero. So they're neutral. That's it.
Yeah, it's harder when watching someone that doesn't really agree with you, so you have to correct them on their points as well. So I think you should just deal with Del, really.
I've got one for you, Glenn. Sean. That's for you, Sean. Oh, man.
They want us to believe that there's a downwards acceleration that's not detectable, and the claim is that you can accelerate gas, liquids, and solids without any displacement whatsoever. That's pseudoscience. That's a claim of fantasy. Can you qualify that claim by showing it in any other vector?
I just said that it only happens in one vector. You're like, would you just show it in another vector? No.
That was just true. He did say one vector.
Dell's jumping the gun.
Yeah, it shows you Del doesn't really listen though.
Oh, there's another one. If you're shooting, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you got to measure the distance of how far it's going to go. Wouldn't the upward rising Earth attribute to the downward bias of the bullet as it flies? But I guess it's the same rate of falling.
It'll be the same. Yeah, it'll be the same. It won't change.
So it's just a globe, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're practically just pushing a globe.
Yeah.
They're pushing equivalence principle based on general relativity.
Okay.
Right, so you understand that you're special pleading.
How?
Because you're making a claim that's not demonstrable.
How is it not demonstrable? If we know that there is 100 volts per meter going up, we can change the polarity in a Van de Graaff generator, making the polarity flip, making things that are very, very light, like iron filings or whatever, go the opposite direction.
Yeah, so you're claiming that electrostatics can accelerate gas, liquids, and solids without displacement. That's your claim.
No, my claim is that the electrostatic sets the downward vector, and then if something has no weight, no density at all, it would just sit there. So it needs to have some density, at which point it displaces and goes in the direction of the downward vector.
But gas, liquids, and solids are different densities, and your claim is that they all move downwards at the same rate.
No, not gas. Gas is different.
But if I release Jeranism, I don't know if you're aware of the tests that we've done. So if I have a vessel with,
I think everybody's aware of the test you've done. It's the same test we did in primary school, dude. It's not new. He's going on as if it's like this revelation. No, dude. We did this in school. We also dropped bottles with water and golf balls in them and stuff at school. It's nothing new. The only difference is they were teaching us about gravity. We don't care about gravity.
Right. It's a dawdle.
with water in it, and I'm letting helium bubbles into the water from the bottom, and the helium bubble is now rising through that water. The instant that I let that go, the helium bubble freezes relative to the water, and now the whole system, according to you and according to the globe, is now moving down, including the helium.
I'll let that go, and it's not moving. Yeah, I'll let it go. Dal, it's very, very easy to understand. Look up net forces. It's not difficult. Net force.
He got past it.
Is there a different language we can tell it to him or something?
I don't
think
know,
Dale's
man.
got his own language.
He got past grade 1, but maybe not grade 2.
I mean, Nate, you learning about this stuff as well, probably.
I think I've already learned this, to be honest. I've already heard something about this. But then again, I've also just researched stuff online that isn't taught to me in school. So, fair enough. I can't really...
I'm gonna just lay it out there. Just forget every fucking thing damn near that you learned in school. I mean, it's not a place for smart people at all. Outside of things that are actually factual that you can put your hands on, yeah, go ahead. Like mathematics, okay, cool. Theoretical mathematics, But you have to really start looking into what's real, and this is why the first thing they do. How do you know the Earth is a globe? Look at the sky. It's like, wait a second, we're talking about where you're standing at. Why are you looking up into the sky now? What the fuck has that got to do with it? Shit, nothing.
And then kids when I was like 10, 11, I learned more about space than the actual Earth.
Right. They got to concrete that fictitious place in you. They're going to teach you all about Narnia.
Yep. Is Dal Scottish, guys, or is he?
I assume so. He sounds like Shrek.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got here. Net force in English translated to Scottish Gaelic, but if PJ was here, it would have been great to know. Fichtglan. There we go. Learn the words. Fichtglan. Hope I'm pronouncing it right.
You got some on your chin. There you go.
But yeah, that says net force. I hope he speaks Scottish.
Well, hey, speaking of, has anybody heard anything out of Michael Kahn?
Yeah, he's still at Tinfoil Hatman's house, helping him with those.
Okay.
What's his name? He's coming back, I think, Friday.
Yeah, I was getting a little concerned because all that shit that's going on around that area, and then I haven't seen him on here. I sent him a message. He didn't answer it back. I asked him, I said, "You okay? Everything good?" And I didn't hear nothing back. So we'll see.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, Sandra, I got your email. I'm going to quickly do you, man. Really appreciate it. Why is it not? Okay, it's sent. Okay.
Right. It loses its relative density difference, right? Because you.
I thought you just said that apart from helium or apart from air.
What?
You just said a minute ago, except from air. No, I've just given you an example where the air and the helium does stay relative in the system, and your claim and the Globe Earth claim is that the whole system, the gas, the helium, the water, the solid, are all accelerating at the same time.
No, Globe has a belief in gas, and we have a different belief.
So what's your belief about gas?
That gas expands in all directions.
Right, and do we have a gradient of gas on the Earth?
There's a gradient, yes.
That's called a non sequitur, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But did you realize what Dal just did?
It's a
He's
temperature.
getting Jaren away from his argument. He's obfuscating away from his argument now. Because the argument was about the downward acceleration not being observed, not being measured. And now he's trying to get him on gas. And now he's trying to tell him, oh, what is gas? In the meantime, we all know what Dal thinks of gas. He doesn't know himself.
He forgot about the temperature. He forgot about what temperature does too. What does temperature do to a gas? What is anybody when it gets colder?
If it heats up, it moves faster. It makes it less denser. If it cools it down, it gets denser and moves slower.
It's we had a cold snap here. I went to go get my Jeep to go up to the store, and lo and behold, all 4 tires were low. All 4 tires were low. Now, did somebody come up and remove the same amount of air out of each one of my tires overnight, or could it be that it got really cold and the pressure decreased inside the tire? Oh Lord, what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
if anybody's done racing before and you realize it's a hot day, you have to check your tire pressures. So you have to know you have to put your tire pressure down a bit, because as soon as you're going to race, it's going to heat up more and you're going to build more pressure in the tires. Same amount of gas, more pressure.
Yep. You can get them to increase a little bit too, right before you take off too. You go into your burnout pit and you do a burnout with the tires and clean them off. Cleans them off too. Gets them hot, makes them kind of sticky, and boom, then you go. Guy I used to work for, he's now the mayor of our town. He used to go to the drag strip all the time. He's got a race car. I used to go up there with him and film him and shit. So learned a lot about it.
Yeah, and that's amazing stuff there.
What causes the gradient?
It could be pressure, or it could be it does have something to do with the density of the gas. It does have, like, some gases are a little bit heavier than other gases, so they're going to generally be lower than the other gas. But there's also a constant mixing of atmospheric gases, so you wouldn't expect to see a perfect layering of gas.
But there's a pressure gradient.
Yep.
So how do you create a pressure gradient?
Temperature gradient.
Yeah. Temperature. I mean, it's not hard to understand. You have 3 main variables when it comes to gas pressure: temperature, volume, and pressure.
Composition.
Sorry?
Composition.
Uh-huh.
Composition. So as you rise in elevation, you also start to lose another component: moisture.
Yep.
Okay.
But also, some of the gases are denser, so they are actually lower than some of the less denser gases that are forced upwards above them. Okay. There's still mixtures of everywhere, but you're just going to have less of the molecules of the denser gas with the lighter gas above there.
And where are these gases coming from? Where do they come from? Oh, so there's a higher concentration near the source of production. Imagine that.
Yeah, remember methane. Methane doesn't exist, man. Cow farms are not a eco-friendly's worst nightmare.
90% of the methane in the atmosphere is created by termites.
It's crazy.
Not cows. It's created by termites. That's why, and most of the plant-derived oxygen is produced by algae. There's more algae production of oxygen from carbon dioxide in our oceans than there actually is through our forests and everything else. Sometimes the smallest stuff has the biggest impact, man.
Yep. It shows you God has a sense of humor.
Be in a container.
Yeah, but how can I can take our gradient, I can take our orientation Jeranism, I can take buoyancy and density, and I can invert it and change it in any direction.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You can accelerate and show displacement in any direction, not create buoyancy. How's he putting it? Buoyancy with pressure gradients in any direction. What happens when you stop accelerating, Del? Does it stop showing what you wanted to show?
I heard you talking earlier about the science, right? Now I'm talking about physics. I'm talking about changing all variables. I'm talking about changing the vector to any vector you want, and I can recreate the conditions of our reality. Can you do that with electrostatics?
I guess that's the way the world works, but I'm wondering what you mean by that. So you're saying you can take that gas that you just talked about, the helium bubbles rising to the top, and you can move something to the right, and you can cause the helium bubbles to go to the left?
I can cause the helium, but the air moves the direction the force is going in. So I can.
Last time I checked, air bubbles go up.
I mean, like they sink sometimes. Well, not sink, but they go down and then go up.
Really weird. He's just literally pushing displacement and calling it acceleration. Just like the globers do. Calling it gravity while pushing displacement.
If I've got a vessel standing here and there's an air bubble rising and a lead weight sinking, if I now accelerate that system downwards, the air bubble now moves towards the ground and the lead weight towards the sky.
Right, you've eliminated their ability to move.
No.
You've basically erased the downward vector.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So then it sits in the middle of the water.
No, that's in free fall. I'm talking about actual downwards acceleration and what happens in physical downwards acceleration. When we physically accelerate downwards, we get an inversion of the pressure gradient and the buoyancy and density gradient.
Yeah, because you're forcing it faster down. You're accelerating it at has anybody stood in a line before and someone pushes you suddenly behind you and your neck, your head goes backwards? Yeah. That's what you're doing, Dal.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my word. This is retarded. That's the only word I got for it.
But it's moving because it's moving, you know.
It's ridiculous, guys. It's ridiculous. Dal actually thinks he has an argument.
So it flips 180.
At what?
It flips 180 degrees.
It flips, or are you saying it flux?
It flips.
Flops. Yeah, flips. Flops, flips.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about what you're talking about. I don't really get what you're saying. I guess.
So, can I just paint a picture?
Go ahead, Del. I don't mean to interrupt.
Jeranism, there's nothing about the conditions of our reality that we can't demonstrate in any other vector. So if we're talking about science and we're talking about hypotheses and changing variables, then I'm standing on solid ground. So far,
how are you changing the direction of the vector to the right or left?
By using motion.
What do you mean? It's already been set. How are you changing the electrostatics of the world?
No, Jeranism, we're talking about changing variables. So again, I'm going to ask you.
So one of the major variables is the electrostatic.
This is something that Dal also forgets, that there is always this direction, vertical, okay? So even when he's accelerating in his car over the horizontal, there's still the displacement apparent of force on the vertical. You can't stop it. It's always there. So he's not really accounting for all the variables.
Yeah, he doesn't want to acknowledge it.
Yep. Wow.
Because it fits his... Yeah, no, now I see that this guy really has nothing to his argument.
He has nothing. Ooh-wee.
Static force that goes down, and you just said you could just move it in another direction. So go ahead and prove that. No, you said you're scientific. Prove that. Then. Show me that you can change the vector to go to the right.
Yes, I've already done it. That's not my problem. You're just incredulous to what I've already shown. So I'm going to put it back to you, Jeranism. It's your responsibility, son.
Why are you insulting him? He says he doesn't understand what you're saying. So why don't you just show him then? Show him your accelerating water bottle in a car so he can laugh at you like we do. I'm glad you're enjoying the show, guys. Hit the likes, share the show. Appreciate all the support. You guys rock.
Yeah, Del becomes an ogre when he just doesn't have an argument.
Uh-huh.
That's what they always do. They just get angry, and it just shows that they, I don't know if it's from pride or just what it comes from, but they do. They get fucking pissed off, angry, man. There's no need. Doesn't make it. You can get angry. It's not going to make something true, you know. God, right? I know. I lost brain cells listening to this fucking shit yesterday.
I wonder if I swallow food and it's downward accelerating into my stomach, does it just like float there so my stomach can just like go up and to the food so it can get inside my stomach? How does eating work on an upwards rising Earth? I wonder.
I don't even. Yeah. Just
anything moving down essentially, because you said that he doesn't believe in like downwards acceleration.
No, he thinks nothing accelerates downwards.
Yeah,
he thinks
exactly.
There's no such thing as downwards acceleration.
Huh. Where do they get this? Oh my God! You know that Lore Lodge is arguing that that plane that all those refugees were supposedly in Afghanistan trying to get on and stuff. And people look at it, you can tell it's an inflatable airplane, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's actually defending that was real. Have you seen the plane itself? What it looked like? I don't know if you remember that. Let me just
Quickly bring it up. I can see. I see Dal did a show of us 2 months ago, showing Jake the Flat Earth. I just say thank you, Tony Whitcomb, for your £10 super chat, man. Really, really appreciate it. You rock. He says upward rising Earth would affect every air current. I called it. Yeah, it would definitely. Thank you, Tony Whitcomb. You rock, man. Really appreciate it, man. Appreciate all the support. Thank you, Tony.
You see
look
the
at that
painting.
plane. It does look kind of. Why does it look so bubble? I mean, I've seen a C-17 in real life. It doesn't look. That looks.
Look at the windows. Look at the windows on it.
Yeah, that's massive.
They're painted on.
Painted on.
Right. And now look at the number. Read it backwards. It's 9/11.
9/11.
Ooh.
Watch it. Now people
Wow.
this thing's moving, and it's moving because of these turbines, right? These people running along right behind the turbine.
Aren't getting blown away.
It was Biden that gave
What?
He's saying that shit's real.
Taliban a bunch of weapons.
He left them some inflatable planes, dude. That's not a big deal. All right. Haven't you seen that video?
That inflatable plane is
So
sick.
I don't think you
people
can get that
argue
close
it.
to the jet engine.
It's a real plane.
I have-
Habib would have been sucked through it, dude. If that was real, he would have been gone.
Same globies argue that too.
They're not even globies, man. They're NPCs.
With Afghanistan, this is an important point that I wanted to make. And since you mentioned that hilarious video, I'll just mention it now. They said that 13 servicemen died in Afghanistan. 13, right? What are the odds? Other than that, and other than the Ukraine and the Israel war, which I think you guys agree it's like PSYOP, it's not like a real war. Other than those wars that make it seem like we're on the verge of World War III, we are not actually officially in any countries.
I know someone who just came over from Ukraine, and I was asking her about, like, you know, what's going on. Obviously, I was interested to hear like what her experience was, and I figured she was like a refugee or something like that. Totally not. And I asked her, I was like, so how's your life different, or what's going on over there? And she's like, well, you know, I didn't really notice anything different. They just kind of passed a lot of new laws. And she's young and ignorant, you know, so she didn't know what's really going on, but nothing really changed except for, of course, they never let a crisis go to waste, so we might as well at least push something through.
That's probably
And that's
the
all she
whole
said.
point of it.
Yeah, the whole thing is he's arguing that, you know, no, they don't pull these psyops, they don't pull fake shit and everything. And it's like he's arguing that when in this thread about that those people are going, that's obviously a fake plane. He's like, no, that's a real airplane. Those people were trying to get out. And I'm like, oh my God, come on, dude. No, I think you're just a contrarian. I don't think you really know anything. I think you're just a contrarian.
Then there's a lot of people that want to be truthers, but they end up falling down a rabbit hole, and or they're just very they're very easily deceived.
Well, they haven't gotten past the perception deception, right? All they did was change who they deemed as an authoritative source of information. Okay, they found out, okay, what I was being told isn't true, so I'm going to go find somebody who's going to tell me the truth. And they still don't discern whether or not they're being told the truth. They just know that it's contrary to what they were told, and so therefore this
A new idea.
Yeah. This is why there was a lot of people that jumped into this Rising Earth shit. They didn't think it out.
Oh, and this happens a bunch. I mean, even with like veganism in the 2000s when it started. I mean, a bunch of fads come along. A bunch of people, when they hear, yeah, you're right. When they hear contrary evidence to what they've been told, it sounds good. You know, sounds like there's a lot of evidence behind it, but it's really just another misdirection from the real truth.
Yeah. But I found that with these people that they're all in on everything. They believe, you know, the shots are good, government's there to help you, America's great, you know, the authorities, they are unable to see past any of the fuckery. That's what's amazing.
Well, do you think, since you equivocated those type of people like in same relation to Del, would you think that Del will never let go of his upwards rising Earth?
No, not at this point, because there's too much invested. He's shouted too loudly and sang too long that his pride won't let him. And I think that at the very first of it, I think it was merely a case of the fact that he doesn't understand how displacement actually works, and therefore grasp at another possibility instead of actually, trying to understand what's actually happening. I mean, as we pointed out, there's so many problems with upward rising Earth. It would have to be continuous acceleration all the time. We'd be going multiple times the speed of light by now.
I did see that you had a stream yesterday on the same subject.
Yeah. It was a good stream you had. Tony Whitcomb, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, as you all know, the UK reign narrative really kicked off in 2014, not 2022. It has been a scripted thing for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden hit media in 2022 kind of thing. But thank you very much for the super chat, Tony. Awesome. Thank you for it. Really appreciate it.
Well, I'm cracking up. I can't believe the level of willing blindness on all levels from people these days. I mean, it's like, is nobody going to ask Donald Trump how the hell his ear healed up? Is nobody going to ask the question?
But they don't remember. All they do is just, he's a superhuman. He's like the new Jesus. Come on, man.
I mean, I'm like, wait a second. I mean, that's really puzzling to me. Even if there was, I mean, nobody's going to ask that. Nobody.
Also, by the way, Flatzoid.
Yeah.
I know you've been talking. I know you talked about this before, but Mr. Beast can't save us. His friend Chris Tyson, pedophile now.
Yeah, Ava.
And he knew about it, and a bunch of stuff is coming out. He faked everything.
Mr. Beast is probably going to lose everything the way it's going now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy's in big trouble, guys. He knew about everything.
Can't wait for my Trump one world order.
Mr. Beast, isn't that one of them that went down there to Antarctica?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Jimmy. Yeah, then there's a lot of things actually coming out about him that are doing some illegal
gamblings
and stuff, and it's weird how these YouTubers are always doing this shady shit. I mean, even Jake Paul is having big things with him where he's scammed people out of money all the time.
Yeah.
There's so much. I mean, it was all these big YouTubers, a lot of them, they scam people out of so much stuff.
I said there's no good public figure.
Really
we maybe had them in past decades, but in this century, no.
Well, it goes right down to this old adage, and I think this is a good one to live by. Anyone that seeks power should be barred from having it. I mean, that's just the truth of it. I mean, what would be the motivation of anyone to want to tell everybody else what the fuck to do?
But you see, I think the society has got like to a place that they think influencers on like the internet and stuff actually know what the hell they're talking about.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like, this guy is a YouTuber and he's successful, so therefore he knows everything.
Right.
So then just trust what he says.
Right.
And
It's always been a perception deception. It's always been that. Even when I was a kid, right? When the news would come on, they didn't have women.
Oh, sorry.
Right? They had like a grandfatherly, trustworthy looking type guy, Harry Reasoner, or one of those sorts, and they'd come on and they would just deliver the news to you. None of this flashy shit. They would just tell you what was going on in the world. And that's what people trusted. How could Harry Reasoner lie to you? Well, he's not reading a script. He's bringing you the information. He's just like your grandpa. Look at this guy, And it's always about the perception of the person that's giving you the information. And this is why it works when they say top experts have found, or leading scientists agree. And that's all they have to. They only have to preface something with a statement like that, and nobody will even question it now. Because it was well, what scientists? Who were they? What were they from? Who funded them? Nobody's asking those questions. Just the fact that your belief that a scientist knows more, and therefore this guy stated that some scientists would agree to this, and that's good enough for you to swallow the information. It's all about how it's presented. I could have Cheech Marin deliver a script to you, as opposed to some guy in a tie with a suit coat sitting in front of some books with a little chyron up underneath of his name, and he's got a PhD after his name. You don't even verify if any of that's true, but you'll accept what he says over Cheech Marin just based on your perception of his position, of his station in the world. That's why I love that Ash. I love that Ash test where they do that. That's beautiful, man, because that shows how people will just conform with something because it's popular. It's the popular idea.
You want to feel
hold on. You want to go, Flatwood?
I'm saying it's the same with like when we saw that Space Cadets. That's that same test. Because they see it's what's on the board, they change their own mind just to conform to what everybody else is saying. I mean, you know what's sad about that? There was nobody else in that room except them and the person they're standing there. So nobody even know anyway what they would be saying.
Right. Yeah, see, that's the thing is in conformity, people love, they just go with it. And you got to be careful about going with the flow. I've always said there's two things that go with the flow: dead fish and shit.
A lot of people think something feels right when it really isn't. I was gonna say, like, for example, David Goggins. This guy has a lot of followers and a lot of people defend him online, but he literally hates himself. He runs and talks about how much he hates the world and how you have to be hard. And the first time he ran, he tore his Achilles heel, and he said he just looked straight and said, "Yeah, no, it doesn't matter." This guy clearly has some kind of mental issues. Yeah. And people actually think like this is healthy in some sense, and then it just leads to more depraved other places. Because, man, if you have a good enough way that you can style yourself, if you're a charismatic enough character, you can get a lot of followers. This is what cult leaders have been doing for centuries. Not centuries, years, decades, whatever.
No, you had it right. You had it right.
Oh, centuries, yeah. Centuries, yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Absolutely. Mind control, governo mentis, control of the mind, government. It only exists in your head if you agree with it, you see? And fundamentally, when it comes down to it, those in power only have power through your agreement that they have power. The only other method that they can have for that is violence. Mm-hmm. Okay? So when it comes right straight down to it, government ends up just being violence. I mean, God didn't know man cannot make law. Law is already established. God created law. All right. If you create a victim, you have broken the law. If you've caused loss, injury, or harm, you have broken the law. The only thing man can do is legislate. And just because something's legal doesn't mean that it's lawful. For instance, at a time here in the United States, it was perfectly legal for you to own another human being and subject them to servitude. That was not lawful, though. And it was illegal to do the lawful thing of trying to free that man from bondage. So what was lawful was illegal by man's law. So man doesn't make law, he only legislates and dictates.
Exactly. And I think that shirt you got on is quite appropriate what you talk about now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's true. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to ask Dave. I didn't know much. Like I said, I didn't know much about you because like when I first spoke to you. Are you, obviously by the name it kind of gives it off, are you like a sovereign citizen type of these people?
Okay, so first off, we got to look at that term sovereign citizen as an oxymoron. The only sovereign citizens are actually police officers. All right. You cannot be sovereign and be a slave. And that's what a citizen is a slave.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, as far as do I do all the I give non-cooperation is what I do. Non-conformity. I will do certain things merely because, as I stated, government at its essence is violence. And if I don't capitulate to these things, then the police will pull me over and shoot me because I don't have a sticker on my car. They do it all the time. Recently, there was a woman that's what she was being pulled over for by this cop, and she didn't roll her window down far enough for the cop, and he pulled his gun out and then went and got a garden implement and busted her window in, tackled her down to the ground, handcuffed her, and arrested her because she didn't have a sticker on her car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. If something like that comes down on me, it's not going to end. I'm going to end up in prison because I'm going to take somebody out that they're going to deem I'm not able to take out. And I'm not going to go through that. So in my name, Sovereign Soul, I'm saying that you have to, nobody has any sovereignty or any claim over you physically or your soul. Okay. So by unchaining your mind and leaving it open and not gluing it to some kind of a paradigm that you're not 100% sure in, if you don't have an unchained mind, you can't have an unchained body. So I guess it's basically you free your mind and your ass follows. So as far as the rest of the things, I don't claim to be a United States citizen. If I do have any interactions, I verify and claim under common law by invoking my rights under the Bill of Rights, using by saying after my signature I use all rights reserved or per UCC 1-308, because otherwise just signing it, they're assuming that you're on board with Uniform Commercial Code. Whereas if you take it into the realm of common law, then it's completely different. You can actually get out of shit that way, but you got to know what you're doing. I don't vote. I don't have any political inclinations whatsoever. I just believe that nobody has a higher claim over another man's life or property, and I live by it.
Yeah, all right, yeah. You seem like the most reasonable out of, because I went on like a deep rabbit hole for like hours just watching these kinds of people's videos, and I was like, this doesn't even feel like what Dave, like Dave feels way more knowledgeable about this for some reason.
Need to watch my son's channel, Burn the Corporate Fiction. He's definitely got he does it. I mean, he don't have plates on his car. When my granddaughter was born, they didn't do the birth certificate. They didn't even go to the hospital. They just it's out. They're out of it. Just out of it. Boom. So I wish I'd known what he knows and what I know now when I was younger. Of course, everybody always says that. If I knew then what I know now, you know. But he was able to learn enough at a younger age that he was able to get free of the system. I'm pretty much free of the system. Pretty much. I did just go down today. It was like, we have to get our vehicles inspected. And just before the show, I was like, oh shit, I got to get an inspection done because you got a little sticker on your windshield. And mine was out of date for like 2 months. So I figured, well, I don't need to have the hassle of somebody pulling me over a fucking sticker. So go down. It's only $20. What the fuck? We'll go and do it. So a friend of mine's a mechanic. I went and had him do it. But there what the fuck is that about, right? You have your car inspected. What to who, right?
But
I'm not undergoing commerce. I'm not driving. I'm traveling in my personal conveyance. But these thugs with guns don't understand that. And if you try to relay that to them, they're going to fucking tow your car, impound it. You know, come on.
I mean, look at it this way: we have to replace our driver's license every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pay to just keep your license for what?
Right. Well,
You've
that's
already
what
got it.
license is. A license is they take a right away from you and then sell it back to you.
The whole
Now,
time.
yeah. So by the definition of driving is a commercial term. Okay. And if you are conducting commerce or trafficking, then you are subject to licensing. But most people think that just traveling to and from the store or going to grandma's house or even to and from work is driving. It's not. It's traveling using your personal conveyance. It's a different, you're not conducting commerce. And driving, the legal term for driving means to conduct commerce on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they've got you. It's all word magic. It's word
but I mean,
magic.
even if you check, like I was listening today, like they gave these people sentence, and then they give them bail. So you have to pay a certain amount of money to get bail. It's like it's
Right.
just a money making scheme. That's all it is.
Yes, and they're producing bonds based on your corporate fiction. In other words, your straw man entity. And they're making bonds. They're making money off of that. Even in that, they're selling bonds based on your incarceration.
Yeah.
It is. And that's why these judges aren't rich because they got big salaries. They're rich because they're making money off of you, off of creating bonds on you, not you, your body, your corporate fiction. See that whole birth certificate, that whole thing, that dead corporate entity, okay? It's a trust. It has value. That's why it's printed on bond paper. Okay, it's an instrument of value. Your birth certificate will actually say it's an instrument of value. Your social security number in the United States is actually part of a routing number to the account that is the trust. There was a trust created with your birth certificate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like you're saying, it's just you giving yourself a barcode.
Yeah. Well, it was unum sanctum. It goes all the way back to unum sanctum. You're a dead corporation, a corpse. The Pope declared everybody dead, and he's the arbitrator of their souls. So right off the bat, you come out of mom, and the first thing they do is mortgage you. What is the word mortgage? Where does that come from? Morte. It's a death pledge.
Doesn't the Pope sign in as like ruler of the world or something?
Yeah.
When he signs in as Pope.
Yeah, that's why he's the father of the Holy See. See?
Oh.
The sea is the law of what? Commerce. Commerce. The law of sea is the law of commerce.
And I mean, fair enough. The British ruled the seas for years, and these guys kind of were. We can't say that the royal family was really. I mean, even from the inception of Britain, it was.
They're only there by sanction of the Pope, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because wasn't their whole idea that they came from like the Davidic bloodline?
It's all sanctioned. There's 3 city-states in the world, in the West, that run things. Okay, you've got the Vatican City, Washington D.C., District of Criminals, and London.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
yeah,
so those are 3 city-states. One, the United States, is the military wing. London is the commercial wing, and the Vatican is the spiritual wing. You ever see all these monarchs? They always hold this little globe, this little ball with a cross on it, right? Right, the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
I forgot what the exact name was. That's what I've been calling it now.
Yeah, yeah. It's I laugh. That's what I always call it too. And I had a picture of Charles holding the thing. I says, "Okay, you pull the pin and then count to 3, not to 4, only to 3." But that's actually a symbolic reference of the sanctification of the Vatican, giving them rulership
over the world, because it's
right.
split into 3 sections, I'm pretty sure. And well, this is kind of weird because it's a globe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Their world is a globe. Huh.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That's there again. That the whole thing comes from the Jesuits. The whole globe fucking thing is a big Jesuit push that started in the Reformation.
Big Bang made by Jesuit.
Yeah.
Darwin.
George Lemaitre.
Darwin was a Mason. And
Is that how
Darwin
you say his name? Is that how you say his name, Keith?
George Lemaitre.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was here in the 20th century, or I guess that was the last century now. Jeez. Damn, that's really weird. I thought by now we'd have like flying cars and all kinds of shit.
That's what I was saying last night. It's like the predictions was by now we should be having flying cars and automated robots as butlers and all that.
Well, another thing they always pushed with this future of the world was a one world government too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they are pushing. I must say, they are trying to push that quite heavily now. Especially.
It's because it's becoming evident. We've actually been in a one world government since, I would have to say, probably the late 40s.
They're just conditioning us. That's all.
Yeah.
To accept it better.
I mean, think about that. Everybody just agrees on the Antarctic Treaty, but even if they're at war with one another, they all agreed on the protocols of the last 4 years. Anybody who didn't agree, they were conveniently taken out and replaced. And there was only a couple of them. So you got to wonder, it's like, wait a second. How is it that everybody's in agreement on these certain things? But then we play like, oh, we're at war with this outfit and we're at war with them people and these people are what, but we still all have this same universal thing.
Yes. And when I realized that there's really nothing, like no political party inside of any of these countries. Even if it comes up, it's just going to get crushed by the government because they're all friends. They're just trying to make us docile and weak so that eventually when it does come, obviously by this either some war, right, some great war that makes us all think, oh, we should all be in peace. So we all come together, or if it's some other type of thing with like an alien invasion, fake psyops, kind of that kind of thing, like staging a big coup.
Yeah, to try to bring it in like they did in Independence Day. They brought all these countries together and they fought, Earth fought against the aliens, But
that's essentially, it's just of discerning, well, what is the next move? Well, obviously Rovid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always through some kind of a fear, It's always they use some kind of a fear as a tactic in order to gain more and more control. But if you think about it, we have been actually under a one world government with an illusion of international sovereignty.
Yeah. Illusion of free choice. I forgot.
So and you were right about that. There really is, like here in the United States, you got the left versus the right. Okay, that's a created paradigm. Those people at the top echelons are not really left or right. They're all in the same club together. It doesn't matter. But it keeps us on this level arguing and fighting against each other and not looking at the actual cause of what the problems are. And when it comes right down to it, they're keeping us distracted from them being the problem. Okay, we want to blame, it's all you people that voted for the left. That's why we're having these problems. Or it's all you people that voted on the right. No, it's all you people that voted at all because you're believing in this bullshit. When you cast your vote, you're actually giving your consent. That is an agreement to the contract, to whatever comes about as a result of their election, which your popular vote has nothing to do with anyways. It's not who casts the votes, it's who counts them. So it's a trick, and they keep
Your
playing
vote
along.
never mattered.
What?
I said your vote never mattered. I mean,
makes you feel like it's a pressure valve. It's a pressure valve.
I did something today. I went out and I'm changing our world.
Yep, I had something to do with it. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're a
And
participant.
then when your guy gets in, it just makes you feel so much better.
Yeah, but here's the thing that's getting me. Okay, so we got turd sandwich and douche canoe. That's our choices, right?
Yeah. And the new Biden's like at a growth spurt at 80 for some reason.
Oh my God! But the whole thing is, it's like these people that just unconditionally support their team, and it brings me right back to, it's like, aren't any of you upset that this fucking guy lied to you and said that he was shot? I mean, I'm just gonna say that he lied. They all lied to you, and you're not even asking a fucking question.
And the sad thing about it is they're all acting as if he's like this hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell?
I don't see no hole in his ear. I don't no chip on. Like, there's what?
No, and that doctor that they were talking to after it happened, that examined him, he said that it was scooped out, consistent with a bullet. That was scooped out. Scooped out means that there's like pieces of the fucking ear are missing. Okay. And here's this guy, no bandage now. It's over. 12 days later, I'm healed up. My ear just looks like nothing ever happened to it whatsoever. And nobody's going, hey, Mr. Trump, your ear seems to be like completely fine and intact. You have any kind of explanation for this miraculous recovery?
Yeah, not even a scratch. It's like
No.
And like, what kind of bullet? Because I mean, obviously, AR-556 is the conclusion that most people have come to on what that guy used, right? So, what really could have made that just little, maybe it grazed by, but it didn't actually hit him, and it was just the heat of it, you know, it was just coming by so fast, so it just incinerated the skin off. What is going on?
I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. That's just
I know I'm just like, I don't see what kind of explanation they can come up with.
You know,
that's why I'm trying to come up with ones.
The whole thing is that there really was no shooter. There really was no shooting. The whole thing was fake. Okay. And it was set up so that you could have all these little rabbit holes to go down.
Yep.
And like, oh, how'd that guy get a ladder and a rifle past all the Secret Service people and shit and get up on the roof of this place? And these people, they're in on it. That's what that means. And now everybody's fighting about the Secret Service is in on it.
They keep bringing new videos out where you literally see him walking on the roof and stuff, and you're like, hello?
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. So many new videos came out. How did that happen?
Oh, and right off the Johnny on the spot,
people just
right away,
on their
somebody
phones.
goes, "Hey, we found this." Somebody said, "Hey, I remember that guy from a commercial that he showed up in for about a second and a half by BlackRock." And so, not only is somebody watching and paying attention to BlackRock commercials, they happen to remember it and dig it up and find it so that it could be out there within just hours.
Dave, second shooter, Dave. How about that?
I know. Here so clear, such clear cameras that we captured a bullet going by his head in the air. But when it comes to, oh, look, there might be somebody on the water tower, we get something that looks like Bigfoot footage, it's all fuzzy going all over the fucking place. Oh, yeah.
Actual conspiracy theory footage.
Oh my God. I swear to God. And these are being done. This is all being done so that people chase down these little rabbit holes. And I'm just going right to the beginning of it. It's like none of it's real.
Yeah.
None of it was fucking real. It was a stage production. People fell for it, and I don't know what's stopping people, why nobody's bothered to ask, if maybe the press is told you're not allowed to ask or whatever, but nobody on either side, hate Trump or love Trump, is going, how the fuck did your ear heal up, bro?
I think the religion of gravity in chat summed it up pretty good. Trump rubbed tomato sauce on his ear, and that's essentially what happened. That guy turned himself into a pizza. He had that orange crust under. He just needed the cheese.
And then I'm watching like this guy that supposedly was hit in the head that got killed. Yes. And it was just moments later. And here's these, I guess they're state police because they're wearing Smokey the Bear hats. And they're just picking up, manhandling this guy who they say he's dead. But either way, you don't treat a corpse or a wounded person in the fashion that they were dragging this guy out of there. One guy's got one pant cuff and the other guy's got another pant cuff, and they're just hauling him out of there. And it's like, why are you hauling him out of there all of a sudden? Shouldn't there be some kind of an investigation or, photographs or something?
Well, I mean, it's always controversial when it comes to this subject because you either go the Alex Jones route where you say, well, I mean, they definitely died, but they have to have people die for these situations.
Well, you know what? That whole thing right there with Trump, that too was a show trial. Okay, when they sued Trump for him saying that Sandy Hook was fake, and they sued him for $1 gazillion million trillion dollars, and then won. That was supposed to telegraph a message to people like you and me. Boy, you better not call out anything like that because they can sue you and you'll lose everything. Yeah, fuck you. Come get me.
Well,
come get me. You have to prove that it's actually real.
I'm just asking, do you think those were actors or... I mean, I'm not going to say anything about this. Do you think those were actors or do you think that
Yes. I think there were crisis actors. Look at the way the crowd even reacts. When there's gunfire, people fucking scurry. They get the fuck out of Dodge. Those people just sat there looking around like it was a tennis match or something.
Fair enough. I mean, I even showed one of my personal friends the video of that little woman that she hears the firing, she starts smiling, and then she pulls up her camera.
And starts filming it. That other guy, that Vincent Fusco guy that's at every Trump rally, people were saying that he's probably JFK Jr., all kinds of other nonsense. That guy's just sitting there in his chair watching what's going on. And I mean, I almost half expect him to, reach down and get some popcorn. I'm like, nobody's reacting the way that something like this occurring would be. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is when it's real like that, there is a sixth sense that kicks in with people that they realize there is actual imminent danger and they do panic and start running and shit. These people didn't do nothing. They just sitting there.
They were with cameras like, oh, let me take videos. Let me do this. They weren't even scared of getting shot. Like I said, it's almost as if they were told when to clap and stuff. You know what I mean? It looked really weird.
Yeah, applause. And he stood up, and then you stand the guy right back up in this kill zone. You don't know if there's multiple shooters, right? You're just standing right back up, and then allow him to do this, and then that's also a good idea. Let's surround him with bodyguards that are half his height.
He literally gave
and people that can't put guns in holsters.
Jesus, I know. That was Meal Team 6.
Oh man, but yeah, it's all the sloped roof's fault. We didn't want to endanger
I saw that
our agents.
And then Elon Musk liked it, and I don't know why, but I was just like, that's the stupidest thing. He was on a sloped roof.
We didn't want to put anybody on sloped roofs because we don't want to put anyone in danger. Yet the people, their agents are on more sloped roof than what he was on.
No shit.
Yeah.
He was on a 2 pitch, and those guys were on about a 6.
It's crazy.
That cracks me up too. It really does. And I think it was like even the guy over exaggerated the recoil of the rifle, the sniper that supposedly took out the shooter. It was almost like he was over exaggerating the recoil of the rifle.
Oh yeah.
You know, so which, you know, come on, if you're firing a blank, you don't get that recoil.
Yeah, but also, I mean,
So
I was
he's
trying to
acting
look at
to us.
when I'm trying to see what scope he had on there. It didn't
Yeah,
really
definitely.
look like he had a scope that was good enough to take the shot that he wanted to take anyway.
No.
Wasn't sufficient. You know what I mean?
And
Actually,
at first I didn't see a scope at all, and I was like,
Yeah, and then I
this
saw
boy was going to make that with iron sights.
That's crazy. And I mean, this from a guy that was supposedly was so bad he wasn't even part of the. He didn't even make the school shooting club.
Well, see, there again, that's part of the rabbit hole, I believe. I don't believe that this Crooks guy actually existed. I think he's a character that was made up for this little story, for this little plot. This is another reason people couldn't find any social media on the guy. They couldn't find, not until shit was created later. It's
Yeah,
sort of like they made the story up as they went along, you know?
Yeah, show us a 20-year-old today that doesn't have social media.
Right. Then when they were talking to these people that supposedly knew him, you know, they're all giving different stories. And this one guy, he's going, yeah, I got picked on a lot. And you know how kids are these days. No kid says that about his own generation. You know how kids are these days. They don't say that. That's not his verbiage. That was a script, man. These guys aren't even good at what they do. You know, and they try to run this by people like me who've been dissecting even the Kennedy assassination for probably 40 years.
in the game. OGs in the game.
Right. You know, it's like, I've seen all your fucking tricks.
Can't pull a veil over my eyes. Yeah.
I'm serious, man. After you've seen them pull as many tricks as I have and realize how they use the same script over and over, they just change the characters, you know, the event. It's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. And the only thing I was surprised at in this one was that there was no manifesto.
Oh, that was, you know what? That's good. We found no journal so far. Nothing.
Yeah. Usually there's a manifesto. These shooters and shit, they always have some kind of manifesto, and they're far right or far left or some other kind of bullshit, you know.
I'm going to be honest.
Profile.
I feel like it was just so perfect because if you know that Muslim Sneeko, he talked on Rumble about this, and he said it was so perfect because it was a white guy and not some, you know, migrant or some, because it created no division in the peoples, and especially for that they also had evidence of him being on both sides of the political party, or at least most people thought that he was he was doing that fake stuff that's like
but Sneeko
was funding Republican places.
Sneeko not really smart though. He's one of the dumbest guys you can find there.
Definitely.
They want to sow a narrative. Listen, they want to sow a narrative now of homegrown extremists, homegrown terrorists, that kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. They want to take it off of the foreigners, you know, off the Islam, and put it on Second Amendment supporters, that kind of thing. People that believe in strong values and family as being radical. That's what they're wanting.
Your average person, we just need to get rid of all guns because it doesn't matter what they behave like. Any person can become extreme and get a gun and then shoot the president.
Listen, that's why I think that because of so many people that are killed and injured every year in drunk driving accidents, they should ban cars.
I agree. I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely. But they'll never.
That is the logic they used.
It is. It's the exact same logic.
They'll never do that, of course, because again, it's against their agenda.
I've never had a gun get up and do anything. I've never had it have an intention. I've never seen it have an intention. I've never seen it do one conscious thing, much less assault anyone. Okay? Yep, the only way that a gun can do anything is if a person picks one up. Now, who's the problem? The gun or the person with malintent in his heart? It's the person with malintent in his heart. Whether he decides to use a knife, a gun, a brick, a phone book, a lamp, a table leg, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the person. Is that table leg now become an assault table leg because somebody beat the shit out of somebody with it? No. It's just a table leg. It was used in a manner that was to cause loss, injury, or harm.
In nature, when we fight, we never used our knuckles because our knuckles are very frail. They can break easily. We would just pick up the nearest thing and throw it at the person, either a rock and bash it over their head. It was always using tools. So we've always been able to strategize some way to use something to kill people.
Yeah, we're still throwing rocks, Nate. We're still throwing rocks.
Oh yeah, we still are. Yeah,
we just got better at it, right? So what's a bullet? What is a bullet? It's a composition of different minerals, rocks, that are using some other rocks, gunpowder, and blasting that rock faster than we can throw it with our hand with better accuracy. I mean, we're still throwing rocks.
Yeah. So what? We should just ban literally everything because it can be
everything. Just ban everything.
Ban everything. This is the new world order. Ban everything. I mean, we're figuring out right now. This is how it comes to it, right? This is how they come to it.
It does. If that's your solution to shit, a kid he touched a hot burner on a stove and burned himself. Therefore, we should outlaw stoves.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's the logic going on with these people. They banned guns a long time ago in the UK, right? It's very difficult to be able to be allowed to have a gun, licensing regulations, blah, 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 right? And so what are we seeing that they're having a lot of problems with now?
They get stabbed like every 10 seconds.
Stabbings, right? So now it's knives. So it wasn't guns. It wasn't guns that were the problem, was it? It was a people that was the problem.
Well,
not the gun.
Well, tell me how the gun will do anything if the person doesn't pull the trigger.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the tool. It's not the tool that does it. It's the person using the tool.
There's a lot of criminals that accidentally had their guns on safety and weren't able to do anything, and they actually got arrested because they just were stupid and decided to either fill their gun with different kinds of bullets. Like I saw this one thing. If you remember that whole Chaz thing, that little state, that little Marxist state.
Yeah.
A woman got arrested and she had a gun that was full of just completely that were actually for the gun and was unable, and there were backwards bullets inside of it.
Oh my God.
So,
well, see, I've got this.
It's definitely.
I got a 25 automatic that's been sitting here on every broadcast I've been on, probably for the last year and a half, and it hasn't done shit. It hasn't done anything.
I haven't seen
it there.
Yeah.
It's not capable of doing anything on its own. So this is where people. I don't know, man. You can really con people into thinking some stupid shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Roger's
if you toy with their emotions and get them on an emotional level, it's easier to get them to go along with it. This is why they always want to go, oh my God, the children. This is going to tug heartstrings in your.
And the funny thing, before you play this Flatoid, the funny thing is that people that usually are, psychotic are the only ones that have these ideas of the gun told me to do it. It was talking to me.
Schizoids.
So, yeah. So definitely the people. There can be no argument made that's not.
So I used to joke, say I'm schizophrenic, and so am I.
All right, let's see this Flats. Why do you trust these liars? Why do you trust them?
I wonder if you would recommend locking down schools
Done very well.
I love that song. Or at least it sounds good. I haven't heard
Yeah,
it.
he did it really well.
Yeah, no. Can you send the link in maybe the...
It's in the private chat.
okay.
Yeah, Roger put it in there. Yeah, the only reason he plays because Roger's asking so nicely.
So we were talking about Upwards Rising Earth, and then we... Oh, sorry, my bad. And then
Well, Upwards Rising Earth has hit its ceiling, so...
it has hit the ceiling. I think it's over. In the same way that we have to stop debating globers, we have to stop debating... I mean, the ether can be debated. That's the one debate I do want to see more on.
Yeah, if we have any people that wants to push ether and talk about it, I'll be more than happy to discuss with them.
I've only seen one between you and Witsit, and that's when you were watching Witsit and John Zerka debate, and he came on. It's your most viewed video. I mean, live.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not feeling too great, so I think we're going to end the stream here, guys.
Oh, look at Austin Murphy said he's sheeting a roof right now in 95 degrees. Doesn't that hurt your butt?
Wow.
Oh, sheeting. I thought he said he was shitting a roof.
Shitting a roof. Hopefully it's sloped roof.
Right?
You'll be safer.
That's too dangerous. That's too dangerous.
That's too dangerous. Listen, they started coming through with these regulations, and I was old school. When I was working construction, man, we were up in Northern Virginia building 2-3-story houses, and then they came in there and they said, oh, if you're up on the roof, you have to have this safety line tied to your fucking waist and shit. And I'll tell you what, this thing's like nailed to the peak, and you got this line hooked to you. That's more dangerous than anything to me, man, because you're like having to fuck with this line all the time so you don't trip over it, so it doesn't get tangled up around your legs. You can't move around as freely as you would normally. I mean, I hated it. I couldn't believe it. Some of the shit that they come up with, man.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
On Facebook.
So are you going to have a show tonight, Soph?
No, I'm on Jaronism's Mystery NASA 420, and of course there's a chance to win a hat from THC on there. We have like a special guest that appears up out of the theater seats, and the first person that can put their first name, last name, first, middle, and last name in the chat wins usually a prize, and usually it's been a hat from THC.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. But we have a lot of fun. We watch NASA documentaries and make fun of them. Like the old Mystery Science Theater 3000 show.
Yeah, I would go, but it's just not in my time zone, so it doesn't really work. Oh, man. Okay, so I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate it. You guys rock. Appreciate the super chats. Hit the likes if you haven't already. Share the show. And then we'll see you guys tomorrow